Good Thursday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And what the heck, we were supposed to warm up today, it just didn't happen, and you can see why. This is our jump-off ridge Sky-Fi tower camera looking down over the Wenatchee Valley. Yeah, we're under there somewhere, but that was our situation all day long today with that low cloud deck and fog throughout a lot of north central Washington. Above that, there was blue sky earlier today. Now some clouds have rolled in and will continue to remain on the cloudy sky. But boy, that sure kept our temperatures down today. And because of the low clouds and some fog, expect, yes, some slippery roads once again tomorrow morning. We did see it this morning, and that with the moisture on the roads and this very humid, wet air out there, we could see some slick driving conditions tomorrow morning and more fog. So keep that in mind, and we'll tell you much more about your weather forecast coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Freshman Congresswoman Kim Schreier speaks out on the government shutdown and the wall in a speech from the House floor on Wednesday. And the population of wolves in Washington state continued to grow in 2017. But first, we begin tonight. Passengers on a Horizon Airlines flight into Pangborn Memorial Airport late Sunday night found themselves first in a lengthy holding pattern, then returning to Seattle so the plane could refuel. The problem? The runway lights at Pangborn were out. NCWLIFE News Director Cal Fitzsimmons talked with the airport operations manager Ron Russ about what went wrong.
As the Horizon aircraft was on final approach, they attempted to increase the intensity of the airport lights. The lights can be controlled by a pilot when they're on final approach to adjust the intensity based on their needs. When they did that, it shocked the current regulator that controls the output to the airport lights, and a capacitor in that regulator failed.
What happens when something like that takes place? What's the airport response?
Well, the airport has personnel on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And in that situation, we received a phone call from Horizon's dispatch as well as Seattle Air Route Traffic Control Center, and we had personnel respond immediately to try and resolve the issue.
And how long did it take someone to get here and figure out what the problem was?
Approximately 20 minutes or so.
And from there, how long to correct that problem?
I believe it took us, once we identified the issue, which took about 5 minutes or so, took us about 40 minutes or so to replace the affected capacitor.
Now, my understanding is this is not the first time this has happened. In fact, it happened earlier this month. Was it the same sort of situation?
It was a similar situation. In that case, there was another aircraft on approach to the airport. Again, likely when they tried to increase the intensity of those runway lights, a capacitor failed, literally exploded, and the regulator shut itself off. It went into a protective mode. It sensed that something wasn't right, and it shut itself off. In that situation, again, we received a phone call. It was after normal work hours. We responded to the airport, and we were able to just turn the regulator back on, and so there was a minimal delay in that situation.
And prior to that, has this happened before?
Yeah, I think the last time we had a capacitor fail like that in one of our airfield regulators was about 4 to 5 years ago.
And is there something that can be done to prevent this from happening in the future?
Just good preventative maintenance, and we have a regular preventative maintenance schedule where we replace those capacitors about every 3 years. We have 3 regulators. We replace the capacitors in 1 regulator each year, so we get on that 3-year cycle to try and prevent this from happening.
Had you replaced all those capacitors after the first incident earlier this month?
We replaced the affected capacitor during that first incident, but we did not have enough capacitors on hand to replace all of them. We have ordered them after that incident, but they were back ordered at the time. So we do have a shipment due in tomorrow, actually, to be able to replace all of those capacitors.
Is it common for an airport to have this sort of runway system where pilots control the runway lights?
It's very common at uncontrolled airports or airports without an air traffic control tower. At airports with an air traffic control tower, the lights are generally turned up and down by the air traffic controllers in the tower.
Who made the decision for the Horizon airplane to return to Seattle for refueling?
That was the airline's decision based on our anticipated time to get the runway lights returned to service and how much fuel they had on board, I would expect.
Freshman Congresswoman Kim Schreier speaks out on the government shutdown and the wall in a speech from the House floor on Wednesday. The 8th District Democrat lashed out at President Trump's funding demands for a border barrier.
Hostage-taking strategy must not be a successful one, or we will see it again. The wall, as he defines it, is a monument to racism and xenophobia, an environmental disaster, and a huge waste of hard-earned taxpayer dollars. And let's be clear that when Mr. Trump offered as a quote, compromise on Saturday doesn't even undo the damage he alone has caused. That's no compromise, that is lip service. Get the government open, and then we can have informed, evidence-based discussion about the best way to protect our borders without holding the American people hostage.
Schreier also read into the record several letters from federal employees in her district who are either furloughed or working without pay and are experiencing financial hardships during the shutdown. Meanwhile, Republican 4th District Congressman Dan Newhouse supports the president's position and said, quote, if Democrats are serious about reopening the federal government and giving certainty to DACA recipients, then they must come to the table to support a common-sense compromise instead of simply obstructing the president, unquote. In other news, the population of wolves in Washington state continued to grow in 2017. The State Department of Fish and Wildlife's annual survey found at least 122 wolves living in Washington last year. The survey found 22 wolf packs and 14 successful breeding pairs. The agency said late last week that the 2016 survey documented 115 wolves, 20 packs, and 10 breeding pairs. According to the 2017 survey, 15 of the 22 known packs are located in Ferry, Stevens, and Pend Oreille counties in the northeast corner of the state. All of the known wolf packs are located east of the Cascade Mountains. Wolves were exterminated in Washington in the last century, but began to move back into the state from neighboring areas in this century. Wolves remain a protected species in the state. Coming up next, over $200,000 in funding has been awarded by Washington State DNR for 2 major forest health projects in Chelan County. A video produced by the Washington State Department of Natural Resources explains how last summer's Cougar Creek fire was prevented from spreading into the Lake Chelan area by a prescribed burn. And we'll have our weekly Kennel Cameos feature from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
Thanks to the help I received at Goodwill,
I have a job.
I'm working now. Thanks to Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Goodwill's Employment Connection Center is a free walk-in job search assistance program designed to get you back to work. When you donate to or shop at Goodwill, you're really helping people find work.
Thank you.
Goodwill is more behind the store.
Welcome back. In another news, over $200,000 in funding has been awarded by Washington State Department of Natural Resources for two major forest health projects in Chelan County. The money is part of the $1.8 million in grants to be shared by 9 organizations across the state, including the Chumstick Wildlife Stewardship Coalition in Leavenworth and the Stamilt Partnership. The Chumstick Group is awarded $100,000 to help plan and conduct forest thinning projects. The group will also receive $25,000 for community outreach efforts. The Stamilt Partnership received just over $107,000 for forest health treatment and $6,900 for community outreach. In central and eastern Washington, the collaboratives that received grant funding are working in high-priority watersheds identified in DNR's 20-year Forest Health Strategic Plan. Well, a video produced by the Washington State Department of Natural Resources explains how last summer's Cougar Creek fire, which burned more than 4,000 acres, was prevented from spreading into the Lake Chelan area by a prescribed burn done years ago. The DNR says it's an example of forest health treatment in action.
On the Cougar Creek fire in between Leavenworth and Indiana, Washington, we had multiple fire activity days where we had the fire intensity pick up and press our control lines. It slopped over further to the east and then wrapped around on some private land and pressed back up there, but we had a big pocket of unburned fuels in there. Later we were able to get a fuels map, and there had been fuels treatment in there that they had done a prescribed fire about 8 to 10 years before, and it did not carry fire through there. So that pocket of fuels we were able to anchor into a road and use that as a control point, and then punch line down to the Indiana River drainage, which allowed us to keep the fire from getting established in that Tyee drainage. These fuel treatment areas give us a safe place to fall back to get anchored in and to re-engage and to then have a safe anchor point to work from. But if it would have continued back up the Indiana drainage to the west, it would have got into heavier fuels and then would have been able to push over towards Lake Chelan, Stehekin, and that area. So this control line that we were able to establish and put in was able to cut the fire off from progressing further up the Indiana drainage and causing a lot more issues for the community.
Time now for our weekly Kennel Cameos feature from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Today, NCWLIFE's Megan McPherson introduces us to Hohenheim the cat.
Hey guys, Megan here with the NCWLIFE channel. We are here with Don Davies, the Executive Director of the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and joining us this week is Hohenheim.
Hi, Hohenheim. So Hohenheim is, he's not more than 5 months old. He originally came here as a little kitten, and he was one of 4 brothers, litter mates, that came. And unfortunately, they had ringworm, and so they had to be treated for 8 weeks, which means that Hohenheim here knows how to take a bath. I'm not saying he loves it, but he knows how to take a bath. The good news is that he and his siblings are all very healthy, and he's not really pleased at this moment, but he actually really loves to purr, and he really does like to be petted.
Yeah.
Maybe he just doesn't like cameras.
Yeah. And if someone wants to adopt him, what should they do?
Well, come on down to the Humane Society, and you can take Hohenheim into a little meet and greet area and get to know him, and just fill out a really simple application form.
The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. Kennel Cameos is supported in part by Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory in Leavenworth. Not only does the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory have great house-made fudge and super delicious candy and caramel apples, but they also have great doggy treats for your 4-legged friends, located at 636 Front Street in Leavenworth. This has been Kennel Cameos at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society.
You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house, featuring great family dining in downtown Chelan. We've got burgers, pub fare, and the best barbecue around. Try one of our award-winning sauces made fresh here in-house. So grab the whole gang and come on down. Stormy Mountain Brewing. Beer, barbecue, friends, and beer.
Antique Mall at Cashmere wishes you a happy and prosperous new year. With 15,000 square feet to explore, Antique Mall at Cashmere has something for everyone. For repurposing projects, do-it-yourselfers, and those with a keen eye for making something old fresh and new again, this is the place to find your next project. Antique Mall at Cashmere, their friendly staff is here to help you. Stop on by today.
Everything we do is about delivering very high-quality care and keeping our patients safe.
We really work as a team here, and so that's really what makes it worthwhile.
I give 100% every day, and I do that because I work for a company that I believe gives 100% back to me.
The bottom line is we genuinely care about our employees.
It is the most incredible place to work, and you will be inspired every day.
Welcome back to NCWLIFE Evening News. Time now for tonight's features story. In the early morning hours, several groups of volunteers under the direction of the city of Wenatchee ventured out throughout the area to connect with local homeless persons. This morning's event was in conjunction with the national point-in-time count of sheltered and unsheltered homeless to conduct a census.
Yeah. I've been there, you know, I've struggled with drug addiction my whole life, and I've been homeless. I've lived on the streets, I've lived in hotels, you know, in and out of prison. And, you know, I just, when I got clean, I got this compassion back in me to help other people. My name is Victor Estrada. I work for the Women's Resource Center. I do homeless outreach. So I started off working at the Bruce, and I was a resident coordinator. The position came open, and it was something that I did on my own. In the wintertime, I would take sweatshirts in my car, blankets, beanies, and gloves, some hygiene supplies, and I would just hand them out. And then I told my boss knew that I was doing that. So when the position became open, she asked me if I wanted to step into the position. Today we're doing the pig count. It's a nationwide event where we go around and we count the homeless people in the community so we can get more resources for funding, grant money, RFPs. It's just more money to help the people in the community. So today we're going to be driving around. We got 3 cars. 2 of them are going to be doing the south end of Wenatchee with the homeless shelters, just doing street outreach. And then there's going to be a team that's going to be doing East Wenatchee and North Wenatchee, North Wenatchee and East Wenatchee. And we're just going to go around and ask some questions to the homeless people, and actually, you know, just take little surveys, and then we use that for the numbers so we can turn them into commerce. Yeah. So in our car we got hygiene items, we got razors, we got a few blankets, we got some jackets, we got socks, we got underwear, pocket warmers, we got a couple tarps, some rain ponchos. Yeah, and that's pretty much what we got. But at the community center, they're going to be giving out more stuff there. We're also going to be doing, I'll be doing chili and soup, you know, crackers, snacks. Central Washington Hospital is supposed to have a mobile unit out there. DSHS is supposed to have a mobile unit out there, and then I think a few different organizations are going to have tables set up there for resources. A lot of the people, you know, coming out, one guy I'm dealing with right now, just recently out of prison. Most people, you know, they lose their homes, they can't afford rent, you know, it's just like hard times right now. And a lot of people get out here, and once they get out, it's a struggle to get back, you know, into regular housing, you know, getting jobs, employment. You know, it's really hard. There's no like low barrier shelter in the community, so it's really hard for people to get a hand up. I found that the best thing to do is just like when you stop, you see somebody and you talk to them and treat them that they're human. It just makes them, it just gives them hope. You know, it puts a smile on their face. I mean, I'll sit there and talk to some guys 45 minutes to an hour sometimes, and just talk to them about how life's going and their struggles. And when you give them stuff, I got called Santa Claus all winter, so. You know, it's pretty awesome to see just that little glimmer of hope in their faces.
And time now for a check of your north central Washington weather forecast. Before we get to that, let's take a peek outside our weather window. And this was our situation today. We thought we would see some sunshine. We knew we'd see a little bit of this cloud deck early this morning, maybe into noon or so. And then we thought the clouds would lift. It just didn't happen for us here in the Wenatchee Valley. Yeah, the Columbia River's under there in both Wenatchee and East Wenatchee as well as we look down from our Sky-Fi tower camera. And that's at Jump Off Ridge. This low cloud deck kept our temperatures down as well. Like I mentioned, we thought we'd get to around 40 degrees today. Just didn't happen. High temperature only 31, and that's after a good start of about 28 this morning, below our normal of 36. That's where we should be for high temperatures right now. Normal low is 26. Record high back in 1984 at 53 degrees, and it was a cold one in 1969 at 2 below zero. Today's precip, we did pick up a trace. That was around midnight or so overnight. Just some freezing fog that did produce just a trace of moisture, but we're still holding at 0.83 inches of precipitation since January 1st. Sunrise this morning at 7:36, and the sun set this afternoon at 4:50. Let's take a look now at what we can expect beginning at 10 o'clock tonight. Mostly cloudy skies. There are clouds above this cloud deck as well, and when that burns off, we'll see some mostly cloudy skies. Fog will redevelop later on, but we're still seeing a ridge of high pressure from this area of high pressure right here in northern Nevada, and that will continue to clear out our skies. Maybe some fog overnight, then mostly sunny skies as we end our work week tomorrow. It should be a beautiful day if we can get rid of this low cloud deck. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. Saturday, maybe some lingering fog. I think that will be really our foggiest day. And this area in gray is all fog, all up and down the west coast. So we'll see if that burns off for us by afternoon on Saturday. Sunday, I think it will. And we'll see a really nice day on Sunday with mostly sunny skies. Temperatures climbing all the way into the mid-40s as we end our weekend. Still that ridge of high pressure over us. And then we transition a little bit on our weather for Monday. And more of a northwesterly flow. You can see the arrows coming into north central Washington. That will bring in some cooler air. We will see lots of sunshine, just temperatures back to where they should be for this time of year. Tuesday, sunshine, lots of it out there with temperatures mainly in the mid-30s for us. And then on Wednesday, we'll see increasing clouds, slightly warmer temperatures, but a system will begin to push in late Wednesday. We'll see some very warm weather past that and maybe some rain showers in about a week or so. Let's take a look now at your quick lube and tune forecast. Tonight we'll drop down to 30 degrees, 42 tomorrow with mostly sunny skies. Hopefully that fog will burn off late in the morning tomorrow. Morning fog on Saturday. That will probably linger into afternoon, and 40 degrees late in the day. Sunday looks to be our nicest day of all with mostly sunny skies and warm temperatures, 44 degrees. I mentioned a cooler northwesterly flow will begin to move in by the time we get into Sunday night and into Monday, so expect cooler weather. 37 our high on Monday, 35 on Tuesday, mostly cloudy, a little bit warmer by the time we get to Wednesday, and 38 degrees. And that's...
Since 1932, Camp Seneca, nestled on the beautiful shores of Lake Wenatchee, has provided children grades 1 through 12 with the ideal location for kids to learn new skills, have fun, and make friends while creating memories that will last a lifetime. Camp Seneca's rustic log cabins and their staff serve to provide each group a unique summer camp experience. Register for Camp Seneca today, www.campfirencw.org.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Wednesday to you. The Wenatchee Wild were hoping to gain ground to second place in the BCHL's Interior Division last night by hosting the team above them in the standings, Merritt. Such wasn't the case, however, as the Centennials raced out to a 3-0 first period advantage, went on for the 6-3 win. Our checker had the call on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
Up through center, they cross the line. Brad Coca picks it up, curls and drags, shoots, and he scores. Boy, a nifty move by Brad Coca. Out of his own end, carves wide up the middle, dances around Cook, throws it back out in front, shot and a score. With good speed working down the right side, the Centennials entered the zone, and it was really a 1-on-4. Pushed across for Wicks, then back to Copperwood. He winds his shot. Is in the net. Boy, it looked like Herzog had blocked it. Herzog had stepped in front to block the shot, and it goes through, ends up deflecting into the net behind Park. So again, Wild are moving from right to left. They've got the puck on the power play. Brandon Cook swings it over. Fletcher down low. Centering feed in front, score! Matt Dorsey on the backside, sharply fed across by Lucas Sauter. And we've seen that one time and again. It took a look, but it ended up bouncing off his blade. Here's Daniel Tack back the other way. He's in back. And the Sents lead by 3 once again. That was Peyton Matsui. Centennials continue to work it around the perimeter. There's a shot and a score. Mike Van Unen let it rip from the left point. I don't know if Matsui got a tip on it or not. But the shot was taken from the left point, and Van Unen will lead the drive through, so that's going to be his goal. Here's a 2-on-1 developing. Here's Dorsey in. Backhand dish shot, score! Murphy Stratton got the redirection on it. That might have been a 3-on-1 if you want to call it that, as Dorsey drove down the left wing. And Murphy Stratton with the redirection chips it up high. Huge opportunity for Wenatchee in this situation. Here's Stratton, shoots, score! I don't know if Hodges got a piece of it or not. He was right there in the crease. Dangles out, broken up, cleared the length of the ice, but that's going to be an icing call. But Copperwood gets there ahead of everyone else and puts it into the empty net. The final couple of seconds are going to tick off as the Centennials set up shot back behind their net. The buzzer sounds, and Merritt will skate out tonight with a 6-3 victory.
Yeah, so scoring goals for the Wild, Matt Dorsey and 2 by Murphy Stratton. Not enough, however. Wenatchee will try to snap its 2-game losing skid with another home game Friday against Langley. The winners of last year's RBC National Championship, Chilliwack Chiefs, will come to town on Saturday. Both those games start at 7 o'clock. High school action. There was some makeup action for weather cancellations earlier this month. Last night, as we open up the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard, Chelan girls sit alone in 4th place in the Caribou Trail League after a 68-33 win over Cascade last night in Leavenworth. On the boys' side, Chelan snapped a 7-game losing streak with a 69-42 win at Cascade. Coach Jeff Pearl tells us Quinn Stamps led 3 players in double figures with 12 each. Coach Pearl says first half defense was the key as Chelan built a 37-18 lead at the break. Also, final dual match of the regular season, Wenatchee was on the road at Moses Lake, fell to the Chiefs 61-9. Sunnyside also dropped West Valley 63-9 last night to claim the regular season Big 9 title. Moses Lake finishes second. District 6 tournament will be next Friday and Saturday at Eisenhower. A very light prep schedule for today consisted of just one event. That was earlier today. Eastmont and Wenatchee swim teams in Moses Lake, along with Davis, Eisenhower, and West Valley for a Big 9 swim meet. Well, we'll learn more about another stab at indoor football in the Wenatchee Valley in a press conference Saturday by the new Wenatchee Valley Skyhawks. The Skyhawks have been hitting social media the past 2 months, offering season tickets and extolling the talents of newly signed players while working out a deal with the Town Toyota Center. Their inaugural season in the American West Conference will include 6 home games beginning March 28th against Reno, ending June 28th against Tri-Cities. Saturday's press conference will be held at the Town Toyota Center at 1 o'clock. Wenatchee's last salvo into the world of indoor football was Wenatchee Valley Venom back in 2010, which folded after 2 seasons due to poor attendance and financial troubles. Well, tonight is hockey night here on the NCWLIFE channel, and as we'll feature Friday's game between Wenatchee Wild and the Trail Smoke Eaters from the Town Toyota Center, our checker has the call on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
Nathan Stevenson over to Fletcher, top of the circle, down low to Sauter. Backdoor shot, score! Matt.
The NCWLIFE channel. That's sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.